Hi guys, welcome to my first long form video. This is kind of really crazy to me and I'm super excited to do it. I have a lot of water right beside me and I'm going to be drinking a lot of water. I will be talking for a long time. So this is Amaya. She was sent in by her mom. I'm super excited to do this with these like crappy little acrylic markers. They're not even student grade, they're like kid craft markers, but I do kind of like the colors and the texture that they end up giving off. I like being able to build them up as if they're watercolor, and some of the colors I know are super opaque, so I like the way that I can layer them up. But anyways, what today is about is my portrait project Tallahassee. So I created this project at the beginning of 2025 because I wanted more practice painting portraits of people that were real. I used Pinterest a lot, and it was a lot of, unrealistic beauty standards and people that just almost looked generic, and I was getting really bored of painting them. And I know that there's sites online for doing portraiture of people that actually exist and are very real. I wanted to create a solo show, and I've been trying to workshop different ideas for a couple years now. I end up making 3 paintings with the same kind of almost prompt, or following the same storyline, or following the same idea, and after 3 paintings I'm totally tired of doing it. And I'm really frustrated with myself because I can't stick with one idea. I think there's probably a reason for that, and I get very tired very easily of monotonous things or the same art materials or similar figures. I've never had OCs really actually stick around because I didn't want to draw the same person over and over again. So I was trying to figure out how to combine the idea of a solo show, something that I could really create and produce and be proud of. So I started to get the idea of painting people in my area, trying to kind of figure out a way to approach people and put it out there, because I don't have the most reach on my Instagram. I didn't have a YouTube at the time. I don't have much reach other than word of mouth. So that's how a lot of this has gotten off the ground, is by word of mouth. And now I have 60 entries, which is nuts. So I'm so happy that I've gotten here whatsoever. It's been a year and a little bit of walking right up to people, asking them if they want to be a part of the project. I had like a little thing. I never wrote it down, but I figured out a script that I would kind of follow. I'd be like, "Hi, my name is Lily Lawson. I'm starting an art project called my Portrait Project Tallahassee. Would you like to join? It's totally free of charge. It's a Google Doc. All you have to do is 5 minutes, maybe a little bit about yourself. You don't have to put a lot there, and a couple photos. And it's of no charge to you. I'm not doing anything crazy with it, obviously. And I just want to paint you." So I approached a lot of people that way. I handed out business cards that way. I was trying really hard to not sound like I was selling something or sounding like a trap, because so many people didn't sign up. And I think it's because it's weird to have this random person approach you like this with this idea. The first person I asked ever was this woman and her boyfriend, and I'll probably have them flash up on the screen now. But this woman and her boyfriend were so immediately sweet and excited about it. She signed up that night, and then he signed up a couple days later. So the first person I talked to actually signed up, which is so nice that they just didn't move on. And I've had a lot of people that I've seen multiple times. Like when you go into a store and you ask somebody to do this thing, you start remembering their faces, and then you go back in that store and the person's still there and they haven't signed up, and that's totally fine. Obviously, people can choose to not do it, accept it that some people don't want to do it, and that's fine, but it's funny to see them around and know, oh, that person's not doing my project, and they said they would. I don't have any hard feelings against anybody. I totally understand not wanting to get into it and being nice to somebody just so they leave you alone. So I've left a lot of people alone because the people that are excited for it will sign up. Yeah, originally the point of this was for practice with faces, just real faces. And I wanted to practice in watercolor and acrylic and gouache and oil paint and just get practice without having to search for a reference. I just work with whatever I'm given. Now, I have picked through, and if I felt like painting one thing one day, if I wanted to be challenged, I'd paint a child. And if I wanted my comfort zone, I would paint a woman. So I did cherry pick a little bit, but for the most part in the beginning, I had a lot of younger people, late teens, early 20s kind of thing. So that was still what I had been painting originally. So I kind of got eased into the project. For the first couple of weeks, at least. Slowly, older people started joining, and way younger kids were being added by their parents. I was so excited because that's what I wanted. I wanted variety. I wanted variety of skin tones, of age, of photo quality, of facial expressions, all kinds of things. I didn't want to pick. I just wanted it to be presented to me. And that's what ended up happening. And I have really, really enjoyed that aspect of not needing to create a composition or pick the colors that I feel like doing the day of, or like, I just don't have to make as many choices. I liked not having to make the choice of what reference that I'm using. That's what it was originally. It was just for practice. And then when I got into it, I was like, wow, this could be a solo show. This could be my first solo show. The main through line, the main connectivity between each piece is that they're all from Tallahassee. And I realized that was a little limiting because Tallahassee is a place where a lot of people come to like shop and be with their friends and do activities, and then they live in the surrounding area. Even up in Georgia, like we're all right here kind of, so opened it up to just the Big Bend area, or if Tallahassee is an impact in your life currently. That kind of opened it up to a lot other people because I know people from around areas like that. Tried to include people in the area as much as possible. And I mean, I was even asking UPS drivers and people at Publix. I mean, I was seriously asking literally anybody that looked at me at all. I was like, hey, you know what? Got a lot of different kinds of people, and a lot of people lived not in Tallahassee. In my Google Doc, there's an option to write a little bit about yourself, and it could be about you specifically, just like your favorite color, your favorite food, whatever. Or it could be about the impact Tallahassee has had on your life, how you got here, or if you're from here and the impact that it's had on your life to be a Tallahassee native or to raise family here. I think that it's really cool and interesting to see so many different stories, and they're all in the same area. That was pretty cool, just to gain an awareness of the people that are living around me. When I was younger, it was a really insane thought to think of everybody having different lives around me. Like, I didn't think of everybody else being as complex as I was. So when I was younger and I started realizing that, like, oh, people have like a lot going on and I'm not the only person experiencing being alive. That was like crazy for me. So I've kind of kept that in the back of my mind as an idea thing, and this project just amplifies the experience of recognizing other people. And there's been people with really insane stories, really sad stories, interesting adventures on how they got here or why they're here. Some people feel stuck here. Some people dreamed about coming here. Some people ended up here. It just is really crazy to understand how everybody's experience is so different. I haven't had a solo show before, and this idea feels so solid to me and so exciting. I jumped into it with both feet. I made 2 portraits a week for probably a couple weeks before I needed a break. I am so excited to show this and see people see themselves in an art show. That was another point of this, was for people to see themselves in a gallery. Not a lot of people get that opportunity. I think it's a really crazy experience to have, because I've only seen my art in galleries. I've been able to show a couple times, and seeing my art in galleries is like, whoa, that's crazy. But I can't imagine seeing your own face in a gallery and going, oh my God, that's me. Somebody painted me. I'm here. People are looking at this portrait of me. I feel like that's a pretty special experience that not a lot of people get. And I think more people should have it, because being a muse is like a really cool thing. Being somebody's muse is really cool. So I wanted a bunch of muses, and I want people to feel beautiful and handsome and wanted and special. I think it's just really important that common people that are not in artistic spaces, I think it's important that they experience being art. A lot of people have been really flattering. I've had a lot of friends and friends of friends join, and people have been super nice, and I really appreciate it, but it's really not about what I'm making. It's more about who I'm creating for, and it's for everybody. That's another reason why I did so many different techniques and styles, is I want everybody to have something that they like, even if it's not their own portrait. If I do somebody's portrait and they don't like the style, that's okay. You guys can commission me if you actually want to be specific and not just let me do whatever I want. Anyways, I was just really excited about representing people in the way that I kind of saw them, but it's not even that deep. I'm not seeing people and reading their auras. I'm not making assumptions about people or trying to express their story through the painting. It's kind of just whatever I see, I try to emulate in the painting. So if it's a kid and they seem super bright and really energetic, I try to have looser paintings or just super bright and expressive colors. I lean towards that anyways, but I try really hard with a personality that seems that way. And people that seem more professional or serious, I kind of try to do a tighter style and probably more close to realism than I am with a lot of these. I'd call my style pretty semi-realistic, so there's some of these that border expressionism, I think. So talking about the mediums that I've been using, I have used acrylic. A lot of the pieces are in acrylic. I have used gouache. I have used watercolor and oil. Some of them are in just oil. Some of them have an acrylic base. I've used colored pencils. I've used watercolor and colored pencils together a lot. I think that's a pretty classic pairing that a lot of people use. I really like how that style turns out, even though it feels frustrating to do a lot of the time because I don't feel like I have a back button. I really prefer acrylic because I feel like I have a back button. Oil I can play with all day and change, and it's just always good. I feel like I don't overwork my oil paintings because I take things a step back and then almost restart, even if I have 3 hours on a canvas. So oil is pretty much a comfort zone at this point, is oil paints, but painting a little looser and just trying to be accurate without being stiff is difficult. So I've started employing different sketching techniques so that I can be more accurate and more expressive at the same time. So I've tried the grid method, and I do not like it. The grid method is too stiff. I've done a couple of them using it, and I've left the grid in at least one that I can think of right now. Even though I can change things after, just having the grid and knowing that it's from a grid, I think it changes the way that I perceive what's on the paper. So I really don't like the grid method. That's really not my thing. I used to always prefer sketching in mechanical pencil. The mechanical pencil is too fine point now. I rather have general shapes to work from, of at least tone, if not color, then at least tone. So it's really hard to get a whole shape in with a mechanical pencil because the lead is so tiny. Whatever medium I use, just block in general shapes. So if in this video I'm using acrylic pens, I'm gonna find the lightest color that I have to try to see the shapes in the photo and just get them down in relation to each other. I try to be accurate as possible, but also just getting something on the canvas or the page or the piece of paper, just getting something on there helps me start and build off of that. This is a child, so I know she looks scary most of the time, but that's because I did not like what I was doing. I didn't like it until the end. I'm not super experienced with this medium. It didn't start off well. I didn't start off accurate enough. Kids are just so hard for me to draw. Their proportions, their chins are so much smaller than what I think they are. I assume the eyes are too close together. So I have a really hard time with kids. I always do the nose too high up too. Like, I always make the same mistakes, but I always make them again. So I've been trying to get out of falling into those mistakes, but I'm still making them. One way that I've been helping myself with those mistakes is by taking a photo of the painting that I'm working on, getting it into IBIS Paint X, because that's what I use to photo edit, or just I used to use it to draw, but I don't use it to draw anymore. I take it into IBIS Paint X and I get the original photo on top of the painting, and I change the transparency so that I can just barely see the sketch. I screenshot it and then I make it so I can see the sketch a little bit more, and so I get multiple stages between the photo and the sketch until I'm satisfied with my options, and then I go through and I see in relation what I have off. So my sketch is kind of as a grid, and I put the photo on top. It shows me where I have to correct things to, and that has helped me a lot, just understanding what I tend to do. I'll get the eyes and nose right, and then the mouth will be so far down. I'll get the mouth and chin right, but then everything else is a little bit too small. I've noticed that I just tend to do the same mistakes with kids. Started seeing those things in the middle of drawing and changing them, which is frustrating because I want to be able to do it right, but I don't get to just do it right off the bat. Correcting myself along the way and trying to get better. I think that I've been drawing kids with a little less frustration. That's what most of them are. I mostly just get frustrated when I paint a kid because I don't feel like I'm doing it right. And it takes so much effort to do it right. On the other hand, I've been painting men more, and men used to be something that I did not like painting. I don't know why. That's another one that's so hard for me to do. Men and kids are not my forte, so I feel like I've gotten a little bit better with kids, but way better with men. I feel like I've gotten prominent male features down. I feel like I'm not girlifying them as much as I used to. I'm more confident with portraying a man on the page and not just getting frustrated and abandoning it, which is another aspect of this project because I'm not selling anything to anyone. If people want prints, they can buy the prints for the amount that I paid to get them printed, but I'm not trying to sell the originals. I don't have a pressure of it being a commission. People still do have an expectation. They expect to be painted once they enter the project. They expect it to be of a certain quality, obviously, because they wouldn't be excited about getting a portrait if they didn't expect it to be good. Get really disappointed in myself when it is not good. So I've ended up putting a lot of pressure on myself throughout this project that I was not intending to do. To alleviate a little bit of that pressure, I have been letting go of the mistake in the painting or drawing that I don't like of the person and just restarting. If I paint somebody twice, I'm probably going to show both of the artworks just because I'm allowed to mess up, I'm allowed to make mistakes, and there's always something that I still like about the art. I'm not satisfied with the likeness. I'll still keep those art pieces because I feel like I always learn something with each one of these. I've done 45 at this point, 46 actually. I'm so proud of how they've turned out and what I have put forward, and now the portfolio that I have, because I'm going to have 50 portraits all together across all different kinds of mediums, varying styles. One is pointillism. I might do a pointillism piece again. I might not, because pointillism is really hard. I have so much variation in this show, and I'm so excited to show it. I just need a place to show it at. I started applying to galleries once I had 20 or so pieces. The beginning of 2025, probably before the summer, being about a year ahead would make it easier to get into these places. Of course, I haven't been able to secure a date for an art show, but I will. If I have to rent out a place for a month just to show this for a month, I will. I'm super dedicated to this idea, and I'm super excited about it as a concept. So if no art gallery is going to take me, I'm going to make my own space, put money out, rent a space, run it for a month. Is that ideal? No. Is it what I want to do? Not really. But I would really like to show this thing in Tallahassee, and if this is how I have to do it this year, then that's what I'm gonna do. If I can show it again in 2027, which I would really like to do, is keep re-showing this, because I'll keep adding paintings. If I want to just draw a person to draw a person, I'm going to add it to the project. I'm going to pull from my references in the Google form. I really don't think this will stop. So I think I'm going to keep adding and keep applying to galleries with this idea and just continue to grow the body of work throughout my time being in Tallahassee. And then if I ever move away, if I ever change locations, that is when I'm going to stop the project and kind of complete it as an era of my life. This first year has been the most intense I'll be about it. This year I plan on doing other projects and bigger paintings and other objects to paint. I'm getting tired of portraits. I always need to switch up to something else, and I'm just tired of portraits right now. Yeah, I have worked really hard on this collection. I have been stressed out a lot by this collection, just because I don't want to disappoint people. It's been really interesting as well to experience community kind of in this way, because gaining a new connection to a person and seeing their face all the time without talking to them is kind of weird. I know all of these people's names and I know their faces, and I haven't met half of them. It's kind of a one-sided relationship in that way, where I know about them and they can only learn about me if they want to through my social media, but I know about them what they have given me to know about them, which I think is another interesting thing, what people have written down about themselves. Some people are giving me whole essays about them, and that's not a negative thing at all. I'm so intrigued about everybody's lives, how they found me or how they got where they are and what they love and what they're doing for school or what they've done as work. So I really like the people that send in as much as they possibly can, and I think it's really interesting the people that send in minimal things of just, hey, I like your work, or I like this color and I like cats. And I think that's really interesting to see the age range and the kind of people that feel like they maybe don't want to put that much information forward, which I don't judge at all. I think it's really interesting when people don't want to share those kinds of things, because then it only makes you ask more questions. You just get more curious about the person. That's going to be another interesting thing at the show, because I'll have everybody's name as the title of the piece, the size, the materials used, and then on a separate little plaque or piece of paper right by the painting will be the information that they gave me through the Google Doc. And some people have information to omit. Some people I think I'll reach out to and just have them make sure that that's what they want to say, so that nobody is like, hey, I told you not to say that. So I'll just make sure that everybody has kind of a finalized statement to make. You'll get to see my expression and their expression. I think that's going to be a really cool aspect to this show. I feel like a professional rambler now. I think I've just gone kind of in circles and I don't necessarily know what else to say. I think that's all of my thoughts on this. And if it's disorganized and weird, then you guys are just gonna have to deal with that. And tell me how much you hate it in the comments so I get engagement. If you were at all intrigued by this idea or my art, or you just want to learn a little bit more, you can go to my Instagram where I've posted all of the previous paintings. You can subscribe to this channel because I will be posting more. I post every Sunday. You can like the video, you'll see more of this in your feed. If you got all the way to the end of this video, comment your favorite emoji. Alright, thank you guys so much for hanging around through this whole thing. I love you, bye!